All right, everyone, back for another battle report here. Had the Iron Hands returning to take on the Tyranids. I'm running a bit of an interesting list. There's a tournament going on today that I was originally signed up for, but then wasn't able to attend. And one of the Tyranid players actually ran I modified the list slightly, but brought an insanely shooty heavy list. And I was really curious about it. It looked fun, and I'm going to give it a go. So slightly modified, and I'll mention where. It's 2,000 points of Kronos in a battalion. We have a Flying Hive Tyrant, again, proxying a little bit of weapons here. I have my Venom Cannon on the painting table. Just needs to get magnetized and get that done up. So it has a heavy, he has the Heavy Venom Cannon, Devours, Psychic Scream, Catalyst, and the Venom Thorn Parasite, I think it is. Yeah, the thing that lets him always have 3 shots with his Heavy Venom Cannon. And then I think that's it for him. Yep. And wings, obviously. Then we have a Neurothrope who took the Norn Crown because I only have 2 Synapse creatures, so he'll essentially just cover all the table with all my shooting guys, which is nice. And he has Symbio Stone for power. And I spent 1 CP for the extra relic. Then we have the Lictor, 6 Hive Guard with Impaler. Then the difference between my list and the one that the other guy used is instead of these Termagants, he had a Harpy. So I despise the Harpy. So I brought these guys instead. I didn't really have, all my slots are pretty much maxed out, so couldn't bring anything else, so I brought some Termagants to the table. And then the spear, I said it was a battalion. This is a spearhead detachment, as there's 5 heavy support. Don't really run that often. So we have 2 Tyrannofexes with acid sprays. One of them, I think, has adrenal glands. We're going to say it's the actual Tyrannofex head guy. Then we have the Barbed Hierodule with Thermic Symbiosis. My Neurothrope is my Warlord. Exocrine. Then we have 3 Carnifexes, proxying here as well. Same load. It's a Heavy Venom Cannons on each and Devours on each. Spore Cyst and Enhanced Senses. So you're going to see that helps out at all. So that is 2,000 points of Kronos. Very different from my normal style of play. So excited to see how it turns out, especially against the Iron Hands.
Hey guys, here's the Iron Hands list. I'm running a battalion detachment. I have Iron Father of Farios for my Warlord. I'm running a Librarian of Phobos armor. I paid the extra points to make him a Chief Librarian. I have 2 squads of Intercessors. One actually is a squad of 6. Then I also have 2 units of Heavy Intercessors, Outrider squad, 3 Inceptor squads, 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, and a Repulsor Executioner. One of the Dreadnoughts have the March of the Ancients, and he has the auto Medicaid Bionics, and that's 2,000 points of Iron Hands right on the button.
All right, everyone, here's the table we're playing on. Before we jump into this report, though, huge shout out, as always, to our Patreons, Brian and Teos. Your support has helped the channel grow and improve the quality. We are here using our gimbal for some nice smooth panovers of the battlefield and to give you a better look at the action. And like I said, each time we're working towards getting live streams done. It will be a work in progress, but the more support we have, the quicker we can get the equipment and jump into that world. You can also become a name model in the army. So in this particular one, the Barbed Hierodule is Brian, so he'll be called out during the battle report. And we also have the Patronic Dice, one for the Iron Hands and one for the Tyranids. And we'll capture it on camera to see if Brian's efforts can impact the Tyranids or help them out this time. We are playing Priority Target from the GT 2021 pack, and that sees deployment on an angle here and over across on this side. You can see the purple dice. And has 5 objectives in total. So 1, where's the other one? 2, 3, 4, and 5. In terms of terrain, just a standard everything. We got the runes everywhere, so just obscuring for everything. This piece here, however, is obscuring, shooting through this part. Any shots coming through the trees, so if there's like any tall things there, like any of my monsters or the Dreadnoughts, so any shots that come through the trees will be -1. Aside from that, it's just standard line of sight. And that's really the only details about the table. It is hold 1, hold 2. I went with rod, stranglehold, an interesting one. I tried it out once. A lot of people are really enjoying that objective, especially on a 5 objective map. I'm going to give it a go and see how I do. And then I priority target because that's just such a go-to in this mission. And then Iron Hands, grind them down, stranglehold, and priority. So we're going to roll off now, find out who gets to pick their deployment zone, and see what's it look like, or what it looks like. So here we go. 6-2. So Tyranids get to pick their zone, and then we'll come back after deployment and see what it looks like. All right, everyone, so we have deployed. The Tyranids selected this side, and then looking at my deployment, we have my Termagants here. Turn effects with the Adrenal Glands, the Speedy Boy there. A Hive Guard hidden with the Hive Tyrant. Barbed Tyradul is actually safe right there with this piece of terrain blocking up the windows as he can be shot through them. This is my priority objective, priority target. Then we have the Carnifexes here. Termagants with the Neural Throat hidden right there, nice and safe. Exocrine. Train effects, other Termagants, Lictor is hidden. The objectives that were moved, this was moved by the Iron Hands back this way. My priority objective was moved back, and then I moved his objective within that. It's his priority over this way, so he can't hide behind the train. So I do have a lane right there at least, or potentially down this way. And then he moved this final objective right here. You have the, what are those guys called? Inceptors? Yep. Yeah, Inceptors, they are up in the sky, I think is they're going to be dropping in. So then we have heavy intercessors right there. One of the dreadnoughts here, the repulsor. That's executioner. So that's just sounds even worse. And then we have the intercessors, eradicators, and then dreadnought, more intercessors, outriders, other heavy intercessors. And then we also have the Librarian, who is this concealed deployment, moving forward to take advantage of the, what am I saying here? Denying the Witch, because he really wants to stop Symbiostorm. I don't have a lot of powers, but if you can get close and stop Symbiostorm, my Hive Guard will be doing just swell. So it's going to be a great game. Very excited, again, to see how this plays out. I was talking about it off camera, but I was thinking to the last might be the strategy with this list, where it's Chronos and not overly as aggressive, which would have been my Hive Tyrant, Barbed Tyradul, Brian the Barbed Tyradul, there he is, Patrons, and then the Hive Guard. So fairly things that are going to kind of sit back, especially where he hits the guns. So be interesting. I went with my more aggressive style objectives, just more the style of play that I'm used to. We'll find out now who's going to go first in this 2,000 point battle report. So very excited. Should be a great game. Let's find out. 4 for the Tyranids, 2-2. Tyranids go first. So we'll come back after turn 1. Movement for the Tyranids. All right, so movement done for the Tyranids. So these guys advance forward over this way, just kind of huddling inside the terrain. Hive Guard obviously staying still. Barbed Tyradul coming forward, getting line of sight across at these intercessors, along with the Tyranofex, who advanced and getting up there, and these two guys. Carnifex got a healthy advance, getting a 6 on that, grabbing me that objective in the middle. Hive Tyrant jumped forward. These Gaunts just scurried out, rotted this zone. Exocrine actually just moved. He's going to bide his time and just sit there. So not really used to playing so reserved with him, so it'll be interesting. This Tyranofex advance forward does have line of sight onto those heavy intercessors, so we'll see if we can get them. And these guys, Metabolic Overdrive to grab me that objective, so I'll be securing Stranglehold for turn 1. So good start there. And we'll move into Psychic and Shooting and see what we can get done. All right, so that ends the Tyranids' turn. So honestly, a pretty sad turn. We'll get to the good stuff, but overall, I killed one guy there. Then between, the Intercessors and Eradicators are gone. It was a sad turn until the Hive Guard stepped in, and I rolled insanely hot with them. The rest of my army, the Tyranofex, both Carnifexes and the Barbed Tyradul collectively killing a Intercessor, and then the Hive Guard stepped up and killed the Intercessors, the 5 of them there, the Eradicators, and finished off the Librarian, who was wounded from Psychic Scream. So all in all, very solid start, but a lot of my monsters sitting in the open and lots of heavy firepower ready to return against the Tyranids here. So that's it. I have 6 points racked up for now. 2 units have to be, yes, 2 units have to be, or 3 units have to be killed to score grind them down. That's it. We'll come into Iron Hands. Turn 1. All right, that is move it done for the Iron Hand. So starting on this side of the table, the Executioner moved back to get a beautiful laying down on all my big fellas right there, along with the Dreadnought. The heavy Intercessors moved up that way, grabbing this objective. The Intercessors over on this side had to move over where I moved that priority objective, grabbing that one. The Iron Father, I think that guy is right by this Dreadnought. He moved over with the heavy Intercessors and the bikes shimmying forward. And that's it for movement. So we'll see what they can do. Stem the tide here, flying forward, and hopefully smash apart a few of these big baddies. All right, so that ends the Iron Hand's turn. So we'll start up over here, then work our way to the exciting spot. So Termagants got chewed up from these guys here, killing off 5 of them, leaving 3 left. And then in the middle here, so this is where the Iron Hand's turn got off to a big bang. So last time we played against one another, the Executioner fired. That was the very first shot of the game. Killed my Trigon, doing 12 wounds. And here it killed my Tranofex, doing 12 wounds. And then the Tranofex blew up, did 3 wounds, 2 wounds, 2 wounds, and then 3 wounds. And then this guy got dropped down to 3 wounds. Sporus was saving him a bit there from the Dreadnought. Aside from that, the rest of my force was pretty hidden. Lost a couple gaunts right here. But they are good to go aside from that. So everyone else is just kind of hanging around. And that is it for the turn for the Iron Hands. So nothing scored for Stranglehold. I do have these guys still here. We did roll the charge. These guys rolled a 10-inch charge, needed a 12 after killing a few there. And killed 1 unit fully, so nothing for grind them down this round, but still scoring the priority target in the back there as well. So that's it. Iron Hands turn 1. We'll come into Tyranid's turn 2. All right, so movement done for the Tyranids on turn 2. So starting in the back corner, Neurothrope just coming back here, keeping the bubble going, preventing the Inceptors coming back there. Hive Guard are staying still. Barb here duel moved up, just getting line of sight onto the Dreadnought. As you'll see in a second, these guys moved advance, grabbing that objective from the Carnifex. Hive Tyrant's going a little aggro here, jumping forward, to get some shots on that Dreadnought, and then potentially help out there with some psychic powers to ease up the amount of shots needed against them. Carnifex stayed still to flame the bikes. He's staying still, he moved forward so he can shoot at the heavy Intercessors. I don't have a bead on the Dreadnought, he's safe. From that, both Carnifex just moving forward. At this point, we just got to dump shots into this Dreadnought. Hopefully the combined might of them and the Hive Guard can take him out. And that is it for movement. We'll come back after Psychic and shooting for the Tyranids. All right, so into the Psychic phase. First thing that happened, the Hive Tyrant was going to smite them. I called it. I'm rolling an 11. I rolled an 11. However, the Iron Hands had a stratagem to deny that, so they paying. Is it just a standard deny?
Souls of Iron, I can deny anybody within 24, a cycle within 24 inches on a 4-face.
Oh, on a 4, so it's a 50-50 roll. So 1 CP gone. It's just 1 CP, right?
Yep.
He's going to use his Protonic dice to try and deny mine, and if it goes through, I'm using my Protonic dice to... Oh. So Brian failed the Iron Hands, but does he succeed with the Tyranids? Looking for... I'll take it. So 4 mortal wounds onto the heavy Intercessors right there. All right, that ends the Tyranids' turn. So shooting is all done. We have killed 1 Dreadnought, had to double fire with the Hive Guard and the combined might of these Venom Cannons, actually doing some wounds. I spent 2 CP for Pathogenic Slime with the Hero Duel. So between, well, actually just basically him, he did a bunch of wounds to this guy. He's down to 5. The Hive Tyrant whipped with his heavy Venom Cannons as well as him. Funnily enough, there was the heavy Intercessors there, the extra crime fired in, killed all but 1. I didn't do any psychic damage to them. And then the Hive Tyrant jumped into combat in hopes of killing. I have no melee weapons. Probably should have built him as half melee, half shooting, taking off the Devours. I think they haven't really done a whole lot, especially against Marines, but it's hard to plan for that, because then the idea was kill him, overrun to safety, because as of right now, my Hive Tyrant, unless I roll wild on some involves, it's not looking good. The Tyrant FX, so rolled insanely well and killed off the Outriders, so just due to some hot rolling, killed them. But that's it for the turn, so scoring, what do we got here? I did max primaries, I didn't go over that, where we had 3 objectives at the start. Getting my rod done for that corner. These guys went and did it. Actually, no, I shot with them. I went for the Hail Mary. I need to do a single wound to that guy. I shot with them, broke their action, just really was hoping for it, because if they cleared off that guy, they're pretty much safe. So I did break an action there, so no rod in that corner, and I got my priority target there as well, and Stranglehold. So that's it. Tyranids turn 2, going to Iron Hands turn 2. So movement is done for the Iron Hands, so the Executioner coming forward here, along with the Heavy Intercessors coming out from the back. Getting 10 for primaries for the Iron Hands on this turn. These guys holding strong on that objective. The Tech Priest tried to advance to get in range of him. He had to move forward just to gain some ground here, to get some charges going off potentially. He advanced trying to get into repair range of him, but didn't make it, CP'd, and didn't get it, unfortunately. And then over this way, the Inceptors dropped in as well to clear off this objective as well. So likely some Tyranids. I'm going to be losing some objectives here in this round, and potentially a lot of hurt coming back. But we'll see what happens for the Iron Hands in the shooting. So big phase coming up. They could jump right back into control of this game if they clear off a lot of the monsters that are advancing forward on the table. All right, so that ends the shooting phase for the Iron Hands. So actually significant damage done. Killed the first Carnifex with the Intercessors right up here. So it was some good shooting coming through from them. Next Carnifex was killed by a bunch of guns there. And then the heavy, the Onslaught Cannon, I think it's called, the Gatling thing, killed all but 2 of them, so still holding the objective. Then the Turbo Laser coming through clutch every time I face this thing, dropping a whopping 8 wounds on the poor Hero, not getting my Dermic Symbiosis. However, up on this side of the table, different story for me. Made all of my involve saves on the Tyrant from the plasma shots and everything else coming through with the Dreadnought, so the Tyrant's still sitting strong. I did lose my Gaunts in here with the Inceptors, clearing them off. So I don't have that objective as of right now, so he's denied my hold more, so good play there. Some charges going to come down, the Dreadnought, and yeah, just the Dreadnought coming. Where he advanced, he can't charge in, but the Dreadnought definitely coming in to finish off. That ends the turn for the Iron Hands. So the Tyrant made both his involves for the wounds that came there. So some unfortunate rolling for the Iron Hands, and then the Tyrant not having any melee, just kind of hit him back but did nothing. So that is an ongoing battle right there between those two. So that ends the turn for the Iron Hands. Turns for units killed 1 Gaunt unit, 2 of the Carnifexes. He needed to kill 5, I think it was, to take out, or to get the grind them down. So actually very close. Not killing them, and then plus the Tyrant would have done it. So it was really close. So I made, I think, collectively 5 or so 4-up involves on that Hive Tyrant. So super clutch on my part, but still anyone's game here. Numbers are dropping on both sides, so some tough units to kill, such as that in the Dreadnought. But we'll go into Tyranids turn 3, see what it looks like. That is movement done for the Tyranids, so Neurothorpe just staying there. These guys still hugging the terrain, getting ready to come out and rod this quarter eventually. The Lictor arrived over here, getting this section done, so I still have 2 more to do, 2 turns left to do it. Not looking good for this side of the table unless I send these Gaunts over later in the game, so that may be the only play I get with that section. Tyrannifex staying still, Exocrine staying still, Tyrant fell back, and this Carnifex just walking forward to do his thing. And that's it for movement, so we'll come back after Psychic and shooting, being that I have to get Symbiostorm off and then just shooting. Alright, that ends the Tyrant's turn. So over this way, these guys just wouldn't die. With all the shots from him, he shrugged the wounds over the 6-up and due to some unfortunate rolling. Over this way, the Hive Guard shot at the the Executioner first just to see, did a wound to it. Then I double tap just to fire at these guys, thinking, oh, I should be able to take them out. Some really bad rolling. Only got 1 wound through. So very unfortunate on that part. However, it did take out this Dreadnought here with the barbed hero duel and the Carnifex dropping it down to 1 wound and the barb just finish them off. So that's it. So getting my Stranglehold. Rod is done with the Lictor in that corner, so 2 rods done. And priority target taken as well. Oh, and the Exocrine fired at these guys. Did a single wound. Some really, really solid cover saves coming through there. So that's it. Iron Hands, turn 3 coming up. Alright, that's movement done for the Iron Hands. So gaining 10 points for primaries, holding 2 of them still. These guys move back to get rid of that Lictor who's lurking about. The Intercessors on the back objective move forward, coming around the edge there and jumping into the cover there, so everyone can shoot that Carnifex or another target as they please. The Tech Priest is coming forward on this side, along with the Executioner coming forward to start blasting into the middle. You can see these gaunts as well, so I'm gonna start losing some objectives here, unfortunately. And then these guys doing a very Space Marine move, advance to move forward right in the middle of all this to do as they please. So that's it for movement on the Iron Hands turn 3. We'll come back after the shoot. All right, folks. So recapping the turn, these guys moved up to shoot the Tyrant. Nothing happened there. The big story so far is the Hero Duel is down to 1 wound after everything but the Stormbolters who finished off the Termagants there, ready to charge over, and the Lictor was zapped off the face of the planet thanks to the Heavy Intercessors. So now, though, we measured up, 11 on the dice. The tank's going to go for the charge because if they can get in that Hero Duel, there's no CP left for the Iron Hands, so this thing could even charge in next turn. It wouldn't be good. So we need 11 on the dice. No CP left, so that ends the turn. Or no, actually, sorry. That is not the end of the turn. He's in. So the Tech Priest is going to come in and hopefully rip apart the Carnifex there. So we'll come back after that is done. Potentially, it could be a big moment there too, because if he takes him out, he can consolidate over and then deny that objective again. And that would mean I'm only getting 5 points for primaries. So big deal there. So that ends the turn. Excuse me. Over this way, the Carnifex almost taken out, made 2 5-ups for the 4 wounds that went through, dropping him down to 2 wounds. He hit back into nothing. But wrapping around there with the consolidation does deny me that objective, as the Tyrant is the only one on there. So into my turn, I'll only be scoring 1 primary. So looking decent for the Iron Hands right now. So we'll come back after turn 4 movement for the Tyranids. Alright folks, so we do have a very interesting game here. So only getting 5 points for primaries for my turn. Movement is done. The Hero Duel came out. I'm getting ready to shoot and charge there. These guys, I moved forward. I did Rod for this area. I was going to overdrive them to come up and steal the objective potentially, but if I roll 2 1s, it'll be for nothing. So I'd rather guarantee myself some points there and potentially kill those guys off or injure them enough that my gaunts will be safe with the Hive Guard. Neurothrope move forward. To get some smite off against this, in addition to the barb firing, along with him firing as well. And then his psychic powers will be hammering against him. Because if I get rid of him, that objective will be not his as well. And then potentially, if the psychic goes really well, then free him up to even shoot. Exocrine stays still to fire at the Intercessors inside the building. And the Exocrine, the Tyrannifex sitting still to shoot at the Inceptors. So that's it for movement. We'll come back after shooting. So shooting and psychic done. The tank has been dropped down to 11 wounds from the Tyrant getting some psychic power, the Tyrant shooting it, and some little bit of smite cut power coming from that little humble Neurothrope there. So the Neurothrope Symbiote stormed the Exocrine, who absolutely blew these guys away down to 1 guy with 1 wound, and I actually used the Barbed Hero Duel to fire at them, killing them off and clearing their objective, as I felt it was more important than charging this guy. And then I dropped the Heavy Intercessors here down to 1 guy left with 1 wound, the Sergeant, and they have some morale to take shortly, as well as dropping the Inceptors down to 1 guy with 2 wounds here from the Tyrannifex. This guy, I didn't realize how durable he was, and I probably should have fell back and maybe put some more shots in it. But he's down to 5 wounds from the Tyrant effects and a little bit of psychic power coming from the Tyrant. So, got a charge about to go down. I'm going to see here if the Barbed Hero Duel can get it done, and just tie him up potentially. Because if the Barbed Hero Duel doesn't die immediately, then he's tied up at least from shooting other important things. So he's definitely going to make it for the charge. So we'll just come in there and see what happens. And then there's still the ongoing battle over here as well. And I actually think I'm going to charge my turn effects to tie that guy up too. So that's it. We'll come back after a little bit of melee and see what it looks like. So that ends the turn. The Barbed Hero Duel whiffed hard on its attacks. He is in his second profile because of Dermic's Symbiosis. However, he still whipped it. Didn't do any damage to the tank. He made a 6-up save against the one attack that went through. Tyrant effects went clutch, coming in and dropping the Inceptor down to 1 wound with his attacks. And then use Implant Attack to finish off my CP and consolidate over there, thus denying that objective at bare minimum. We still have that. We forgot about that fight there. So that current effect's likely going to die. And then that guy's free to move around. And then another side news, because we skipped ahead, that Heavy Intercessor ran with a 6 for morale, no CP left for the Iron Hand, so that objective is up for grabs. So we'll come back very quickly and just recap if. So the current effects just had 4 successful wounds come against him, and I rolled 4 5-ups of AP -2 weapons. So yeah, that's not good. So that is. Well, actually, no, sorry, you're Assault Doctor now. Is that an assault weapon? Yeah, I assume. Or it's a melee weapon, yeah, Assault Doctrine, yeah. So, sorry, the current effects actually does fall. We'll remember for anyone saying that it was an AP -2 and it was actually -3 because you add 1 because it's Assault Doctrine. Yeah, so the card effects almost live. He was pretty upset with that for a second. I rolled 3 5-ups and then a 6, but it was a 6 I needed because there was an extra AP because it's Assault Doctrine. So the card effects does fall, and he's going to consolidate potentially towards the turn effects. So that's it for Tyranids turn 4. Alright, so that's Iron Hand's turn 4 done. Brian the Hero Duel has fallen after getting blasted by that immediately there. It was bound to happen, unfortunately, so he has fallen, and the Hive Tyrant down to 4 wounds by so a little bit of shooting, then a nice healthy 10-inch charge to come in and deny that objective from me. So I'm only holding 2 objectives now into turn 5. So no more priority for the Iron Hands, but still grind them down on the table as we move into Tyranids turn 5. Alright folks, so that's the end of the game. We just played at the end of the turn to see if the tank could stick around. That tank did a crazy amount of damage. So the end score was, what was it? 70 to 44 was the end total in this match. So really good game. We were talking about a few things. Honestly, we both agreed that it came down to just dice rolls in the end. Like losing that Intercessor was huge because that was primary points costed right there. And there was another morale too that was failed, unfortunately, with the other Heavy Intercessor over there, and he would have been holding that objective. So small things like that impacted it quite a bit because he actually would have maxed out primaries on 2 different turns, being able to hold more than I did by having those extra guys as well. So we were talking about a few differences. I think on a whole we both played very well this game. There's some dice rolls for my Tyranids, like this guy was just hanging. I made an absurd amount of 4-up involves with him, like very unstatistical. He should have been not dead, but limping along much earlier in the game than dead at this point for sure. As well as there's another unit that I had. The Barbed Hero Duel made the Dermic Symbiosis saved him, especially against a lot of the shots coming in from the Executioner. So good game on a whole. It was very enjoyable. It looks pretty in the Tyranids' favor, but honestly, it came down right to the tail end of turn 4 before we both agreed. Like a final outcome, we both found it was a nail biter up until that point. Secondaries as well, potentially. Stranglehold was a tough one for the Iron Hands, just where the Tyranids also getting first turn. That's a big thing, especially like with an objective like Stranglehold. Getting first turn and being able to move forward and take advantage of that right away is a tough one. So, but there's no way you can plan for that. And your MVP was the tank?
100%.
100% the tank. For me, I think it would be probably the Hierodule or... Oh, it's hard to say. The Hierodule or that Tyrant. The Tyrant just tanking all of those. I mean, the Hive Guard killed tons of stuff, but the Hierodule stayed alive, and with those 5-up involves just kind of moved up and... Yeah. Yeah. So I would give it to probably it's a share between the Hive Tyrant and Brian, the Hierodule Patron. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. More reports to come, as well as another Tyranid Tactica video, hopefully coming out this week. I'm going to do a follow-up to the Zoanthrope video and do it on a Neurothrope. So just a quick video focusing on them and their strengths and weaknesses. So pretty fun with this style list, a very shooty heavy, next to nothing in melee, so very different from what I normally use. So thank you so much for watching.